What's up, weebs? It has been a while since I have talked about or even shown anything from Dokkan, and I'm kind of in the creative mood to kind of make up a little thing for worldwide download celebration that is coming up now. Global is working on getting Topo, ending the anniversary, wrapping the anniversary up. JP just got their data download for Roshi and Bunny Bulma, which Bulma is something we will talk about in a little bit. But now that we're coming closer and August is here and Worldwide Download Celebration typically happens in the middle to end of August, it's time for speculation time. Basically, we're gonna hit a kind of okay time for Dokkan while we wait for this, especially global players, while we wait for the in between of anniversary into Worldwide Download Celebration. And with this big one, we are getting the sync, which is a whole other conversation topic that we can talk about another time. But I kind of wanted to get into my speculation bag and talk about what I want to see for the Worldwide Download Celebration. And I honestly think we should go back to the Planet Namek Saga stuff, because there are some other characters we do have to think about when we think about the Planet Namek Saga. And I'm kind of going to structure this around the one we got last year with Future Saga from Dragon Ball Super. So, I mean, yeah, we're going to get stuff, like login bonuses, worldwide missions. We'll talk about the Dual Dokkan Fest I'm going to do right now. Packs, I do believe, are going to stay on global in the Pilaf's Trove once we sync. I think that's going to be a thing that stays. The ticket packs, the daily capsules, everything like that the Pilaf Trove has that JP doesn't have. I think Global is going to keep those. I think Global is going to really benefit from the Pilaf Trove in the long run. And that's going to be something that we can look forward to as a global player. New Dokkan Fest, Dokkan events. I think I'm just going to claim these are new stages, really, for these ones. The Awakening Medals, special ticket summons. Yeah, we can add those as well. Co-op campaigns, all that stuff. The 50 special summon, I think I'm going to pair with the 9th anniversary version, where I don't even think it's gonna be beneficial to do that, but we're going to go and where are the ticket missions? I guess they're just not here, huh? There we go. Yeah, these ticket missions at the 9th anniversary, and the 9th anniversary gives you, where I think you farm 50 and you do a 77 character multi on a banner of your choice. I think I'm going to continue with that, but instead of the 77 characters, I think we're just going to keep it 50, because it's not as, I don't want to say it's not as big as a celebration as anniversary, but it still, requires, I don't want to say requires, but insinuates that big celebration feeling. But I'm only going to keep it 50 because we also have the memorial stones that we're going to be getting. These are the shop items: the red stone, purple stone, the lightning purple one, sales, whatever, story events. That's a part I didn't really get into. I didn't make up any new story events. I didn't make up any Dragonstone events, but I imagine there would be one there. There'd be a Planet Namek Saga skill orb event, stuff like that. I imagine there could be like a Planet Namek Saga red zone, which I don't know if we've done that already. No, because that's a Wicked Bloodline Red Ribbon Army. Something like that. Maybe a couple of spectacular battles, the blue zone kind of stuff. But what I really wanted to talk about is the units. Let's talk about the units. Let's go in for the number one, first one. And I'm going to, like I said, for this one, I structured it as Dual Dokkan Fest that goes into Dual Carnival banners. So let's go into the first Dokkan Fest that I have. It is a base Goku that transforms into Super Saiyan Goku. I'm making him physical. I just kind of threw out the types, I'm not going to lie. The rainbow stats, this is all dupes, fully open. I'm hovering around the 23,000, the 20K, and the 14,000 for their stats respectively. I think that'll be a decent one. I kind of compared it to, I think I did the Gogeta from 9th anniversary, which is a carnival, was kind of not the best to do. I should have done the Dokkan Fest, like the Broly or the Beast Gohan, but Gogeta was the first one I pulled up, so that was the first one I did. And then as far as categories go, I'm thinking, so just kind of the opposite, the Frieza from the last Worldwide Download Celebration, the full power AGL Frieza. I'm giving Goku the Planet Namek Saga leader skill, but I'm also giving him the legendary existence, and then I'm adding saviors onto that, because the intro that I'm using for this Goku, he's gonna have an intro animation of when he gets out of the pod. I know they used it for a support memory, but I think we can use it here as an intro animation. I think it'll work very well. And then I'm going to give the extra 30% to Earthbred Fighters and Pure Sands. That's going to give stuff to all the other Gokus, so like UI Gokus, Gohans, Vegetas, Krillins, Piccolos, stuff like that. I'm going to make, it's kind of more of like a Z Warrior super class type of team build that he will be doing, but he's going to be absolutely cracked. I tried to not make them super broken, but I still needed to make them good enough to handle these hardest fights. And in JP right now, the hardest fight is a 2.4 or a 2.3 million super boss in Goku and Frieza, and when they get under 50%, they do 5.6 million. So we need some defense in these units. The attack, I'm not too worried about. I know there's a 10 million threshold for that Goku and Frieza, but getting a higher attack stat is way easier than being good defensively for a lot of these characters. But when we go into it, he's going to do the iconic exit of the ship when he lands on Namek, and that's going to give him 4 ki, an extra 40% damage reduction, and 59% extra defense for the first 5 turns. And 5 turns seems like a long time, but seeing you're only going to get it 3 times is going to make you think of how to set up his active skill, because I've put his Super Saiyan transformation into an active skill. He's going to start the turn 5 ki, 200% attack and defense. Pretty good. I think that's what Beast Gohan starts with. If not, it's 250, but 200% is still very good, especially for an LR on a 200% team. It's going to be really good. He's going to have a guaranteed guard for the first 3 turns, so I'm kind of forcing, kind of not, maybe a turn or 2 where you will have to think about if you want to transform or not, because this guy does have stacking on both his 12 and 18 ki super attacks, but he also gets an innate 30% damage reduction. So if you have the interrupt, he's going to have a 70% damage reduction for 5 turns. So that's why the guard wears off first, and he's still going to have the 70% damage reduction for, I believe, 1 more turn. And he's going to have an additional super attack as a first attacker on the turn. That is from the Int Super Saiyan Goku from the last Planet Namek Saga Worldwide Download Celebration. And then he's going to have the additional super after receiving an attack, which is also the incentive to put him in the first slot, like the same Int Goku. The same thing I kind of kept with Goku, but we're gonna talk about the Int Goku later. But the thing that I kept with him that is in the same vein for this Goku is when this Goku is fighting any extreme class enemy, he is going to be super effective against all types. So that means he's going to have the Gogeta treatment, where he's going to be doing super effective damage to all characters, but not crit. So that character's still going to have their defense. If you guys don't know, super effective against all types means you're doing positive damage, but the enemy still has their defense. And crit means you are doing positive damage, but you also reduce the enemy's defense to 0 for that attack. And then after that, his basic 12 and 18 ki super text is 12 ki is just going to raise defense by 20%, and then his 18 is going to raise attack and defense by 20%, just to get that little attack boost for the 18 ki. Nothing too crazy, but with the active skill, after the next turn, so if you get Goku in turn 1, when you come back to turn 3, if your HP is 70% or below, you will transform into Super Saiyan Goku. And something I didn't say right now, but I should keep in mind, is I didn't really think of these super attack animations. I thought of some certain things for these characters, but there are certain things I did leave out and forget. Just like I'm remembering right now, I forgot with Super Saiyan Goku. We'll talk about it in a second. But if you are under 70% or below after your next turn with Goku, you can transform into Super Saiyan Goku, and he has the Carnival Blue Gogeta. If you guys did get him in the 9th anniversary, he has a similar version of his transformed ability, which is he's going to recover 59% health at the start of the turn for 3 turns. So that's just going to be his initial transformation turn and his following turn. So that's going to be a lot of health regeneration, especially if you have a weaker off rotation. So if your main Goku LR rotation is really good and doesn't take a lot of damage, but your rotation right after that takes a lot of damage, Goku comes back, he's going to recover a lot of that. And we keep the 59% because Dokkan really loves to do these little nods at Goku, Gohan, and that stuff. But he's going to get an insane stat buff. He's going to go from 200% to 300%, get initial 6 keys. So at the baseline, starting with 12 key, guarding all attacks, initial damage reduction of 59%. And then I gave him an additional attack and defense 100%, and then an additional 15% damage reduction as the first attacker in the turn. And when he does receive that attack, he also launches 2 additional attacks. This is where it splits off a little bit that Dokkan doesn't really do, but one of those attacks is going to be a super attack, and then the second one is going to be a regular attack with a great chance of being a super attack. So I believe great chance in this context is about 50%. So he's gonna do, as the first attacker, he is going to do his initial super attack, the first additional super attack, and then a third attack that has a 50% chance of being a super attack. And then along with that, to keep that incentive that he had as base Goku, he's going to launch that additional super attack after receiving an attack. So you're going to get, at baseline, without hidden potential system, I believe that's 4 super attacks at most you can get. And the upgraded version I have from the Int Namek Goku is that this Super Saiyan Goku is going to perform a critical hit when attacking any extreme class enemy. The Int Goku and the AGL Full Power Frieza, last time we did Planet Namek Saga, they were only doing it to Goku's and Frieza, and that gave Frieza an insane lead for how well he was critting than what Goku was doing, because there wasn't too much after that. But there is one part I did want to add. I wanted to add that he nullifies Ki Blast supers, because there was the one scene. Attacks. There is the scene where Goku face tanks the Ki Blast from Frieza, and he just like knocks his head back and then flips it back forward, just mocking him. I think it's really good. I think that scene really needs to be as just a Ki Blast nullification. I think it works really well, but I can't find it. I should have saved it somewhere. But if you know what scene I'm talking about, I'll put it up on the screen when we get back to it. But if you know what scene I'm talking about, you know what scene I'm talking about. That being said, Goku, his 12 key is going to greatly raise his attack. Stack it, by the way, 50% greatly stacking attack. By the time Goku comes out, I know it's the next turn, but these fights, while they do a lot of damage, they also move very fast. I'm seeing a lot of videos where Goku and Frieza, in the fight, you get to Goku and Frieza maybe like turn 6 or 7, so it's going to be very fast. You're not going to have too many. Although, with how much Goku is going to super attack, if he's in slot 1 or he gets really lucky with a hidden potential, I might hear you if you think it should just go down to regularly raises attack and defense, because he also stacks defense in that with 20%. But his 18 key, I do have that he gets a 50% stack of attack and defense. I think it's warranted. You only get one 18 key per turn, so the 50% is going to be really good. These guys are just going to be, the absolute top of the line units. They need to be number 1. I know Global gets anniversaries super late in the grand scheme of things, but Worldwide Download Celebration is kind of the next place after Tanabata to see a potential number 1 unit. I think Super Saiyan Goku needs to be it at some point, because even when we got the first Super Saiyan Goku LR, he was not number 1. I could genuinely argue that Full Power Frieza was better than Goku when they released in that Worldwide Download Celebration. So I think it's time for Planet Namek Saga Super Saiyan Goku to get his flowers and be the number 1 unit he needs to be, on top of his stacking attack and defense on his 12 and 18 key. He also does have chances to stun on both of them. I just thought to sprinkle in a little something, because I did also give that to Frieza. Now, while Goku has the guarding, the immense damage reduction, and stuff like that. Oh yeah, we're not talking about Frieza yet. My bad. We have banner units. Banner unit TR Krillin. This, when we read this is going to seem like the best banner unit there's ever been. I know, but you have to think about how you make dodge or die characters and how you make a good banner unit. I think this is the best banner you can possibly get. So we have, I made him Tech. This is Tech TUR Krillin. This is Sand Armor Krillin. He's going to be Planet Namek Saga 4 key, 130 stats. Nothing too crazy. 14k HP, 12k attack and then 12k defense. I think I'm gonna probably lower that maybe to 10 for Krillin. I'm thinking more 10 with the amount I'm thinking of how I built him. I think the lower defense he has would kind of make more sense. But when we get into his kit, let's talk about his kit. Key plus 3 attacking defense, 200%. Nothing too crazy for a banner unit. Not gonna like reflect too crazy in anywhere else. But he also does have a 50% chance to evade enemies' attacks. That's, I feel like if you're going to be a TUR in this day and age of Dokkan, you need to have some sort of like high defense ability. And 50% dodge is kind of just like a baseline for TURs for me. I think they really need to have something insane if they're going to be even looking at a spot on the team. So with that, he does get an additional 5% chance of evading attacks with each attack he already evades. The AGL UI Goku stacking. So his first dodge, he's going to go then have a 55%, and then another dodge, he's going to have 60%, so on and so forth. But this is where Krillin becomes a really, really good banner unit. If there is a Goku on the team, I think I'm going to change that to in the turn. I think in the turn is going to be a lot better because it's kind of strong. If there is a Goku on the turn, he's going to have an additional 20% chance of evading enemy attacks, which is going to put him at 70% chance to dodge, with each dodge giving him another 5% chance to dodge, just stacking on top of that. But that is also going to give Planet Namek Saga allies an additional 1 key and 10% attack and defense. That's because he is a support type unit that gives Planet Namek Saga allies baseline key 3 and attack and defense 40%. So that means with Goku on the turn, he's going to have 70% chance to dodge, and he's going to be giving 4 key and 50% attack and defense to all allies on the turn. He's going to be really, really good. I kind of want to get rid of this last one, but I gave him survive KO attacks. I gave him, because of how Dende healed him, I gave him survive KO, an enemy KO attack once, and at the end of the turn, you recover 70% HP. I think it's just in line with Krillin, and I think when you look at the other banner unit, you're going to see I picked Krillin as the favorite. You're going to see, because I also gave Krillin an active skill. If we go over, let me just pull it up real quick. If I just do this, when we do this would be Krillin's active skill. When he smacks his butt to try to get Frieza's attention, it's going to do the Beast Gohan Blue Gogeta treatment, where he's going to get all the enemy attacks targeted to himself. And with that, if you have Goku on the turn, because he gets no other buffs. There's no extra chance to dodge. There is no extra damage reduction, defense, anything like that. He just targets all the enemy attacks to himself. Because if you have Goku on the turn, you have the 70% chance to dodge. You are stacking dodge on top of that. It's going to be a very high risk, high reward active skill to use that can also get you out of a sticky situation, especially with the surviving KO attack. So I think Krillin may be one of the best banner units I've ever seen, and he's not real. I'm kind of hoping he is, though. Now that we've done the heroes, let's see the villains of the Worldwide Download Celebration. Dokkan Fest LR Final Form Frieza. I made him STR. Extreme STR right now has one good unit. They have Cell Max. That's about it. Cell Max, not even out on Global yet. We need a good STR. We need a good Extreme STR. This Frieza, I have decided to give him, 24k HP, 20k attack, and 13k defense. I forget who I based this off of, but this is what I gave him. I think he's okay. The categories, I gave him some categories that needed some love. Inhuman Deeds really needed love. There's not any. There's really none. Tech Grade 8 Vegeta, you're not using him. AGO, Vegeta, and Nappa, you're not using them as a leader. Inhuman Deeds, Final Trump Card. When was the last Final Trump Card leader we got? I couldn't tell you. And then Battle of Fate. All 170 and the 30% going to sworn enemies and full power, so you can give them to people like, I think Broly would be on that, other Friezas. The 200% would look pretty good. The 200% would look fine. But when we go into the kit, let's go into Frieza's kit right here, right now. His intro, I'm giving him an intro animation as well. It's going to be the transformation from the Xenomorph third form Frieza into his final form, quote unquote. It's just going to be that iconic transformation just out the gate. It's going to give him 5 key, 80% attack and defense, and an extra damage reduction of 40% for 3 turns. 3 turns seems a little short. I know that's only technically 2 usable turns for him, but we're going to see why. Because at the beginning, Frieza gets big stats. From the jump, he's going to get the bigger stats than Goku. He's going to get 4 key, 250% attack and defense, and he's going to get an additional 150 defense and an additional super attack as the first attacker in the turn. Just going to make him super tanky because Frieza is not going to have the innate guard that Goku has that gives him that extra bump of defense. So he needs that extra raw defense with the damage reduction, and it's going to look crazy because he's going to have an innate 50% damage reduction. So for the first 3 turns of the fight, Final Form Frieza is going to have 90% damage reduction. 90%. He's gonna be tanky, but you're gonna only have him twice. You're gonna only have 90% damage reduction twice. After that, you're going into 50%. It's gonna be a little tough, but he's gonna have a baseline additional attack, one singular additional attack that has a 50% chance of being a super, and then every time he receives 5 attacks, he's going to launch an additional super attack. So it kind of is the incentive to put him in the fray, put him out there to get some hits, to get those additional stacks. Then, like Goku, he is going to have attacks super effective against all types when attacking any super class enemy. This is another part where I think Frieza in the attacking variation will have a slight edge because there are going to be harder super class fights. Goku and Frieza right now, the hardest fight in the game is a super class enemy. So being innately super effective against all types there is really good, especially with the Supreme Magnificent Battles are all super types as well. Everything that is about the hardest battle besides, I think, Stage 2 of Cell Max is a super class. It's just how it is right now. That's how the game is. And then we're going to transform when conditions are met. His transformation condition is simply 5th turn from the start of battle. I know the biggest complaint about a lot of these characters are like Broly and Gogeta, where they are transformed from the 5th turn upon their first appearance. So if they show up in turn 3, they're not transforming until turn 8. It's going to take them a while. Frieza, just simply turn 5. That's it. We want to make it easy for them. We want to make it easy. And for his 12 and 18 key, I got 18 key given the 50%, and then the 12 key, just a regular 20% stack. Nothing too crazy. He's going to get a lot of 12 key attacks, so he's going to be stacking pretty well. But once we go into the 5th turn, we are going to turn into full power Frieza. He's an absolute juggernaut. I'm just going to say it. He's an absolute juggernaut, but he is someone who wants to be in harm's way. And I think I gave him too much defense. I'm going to be honest. Let me change that. I'm just going to keep that 100. Okay, starting from the beginning of the turn. Key 6, 300% attack and defense. Already huge. But then, as the first attacker in the turn, in the first slot, additional defense 100%, additional super attack, and an additional 20% damage reduction. On top of his 60% damage reduction, you are going to have 80% damage reduction as Frieza in the front. You're going to have 80% damage reduction as Frieza in slot 1. He's going to be a juggernaut. But we can talk about that when I have an idea for a little event later on. After that, he has 2 additional attacks. Each of them have a great chance to be a super attack. Think of AGL Blue Vegeta. Think of when Blue Kaioken and Evolution Blue Vegeta get their rainbow orbs and they do their attacks. They have chances to be super attacks like that. And then the same thing, just the opposite of Goku. He is going to perform a critical hit on any super class enemy. I actually messed that up. But he's going to be doing that against any super class enemy, which is going to give him a huge advantage from being in slot 1 with how many attacks he does. It's going to be ridiculous. Plus, let's talk about the super attacks first. 18 key, he's greatly raising attack and defense, and he seals the enemy super attack just to make it that much easier to tank everything. 12 key, 20% attack and defense stack, plus lowering enemy attack, just so he can continue that tanking ability. He's going to be the biggest tank you can have. Unfortunately, he doesn't have anything to target all the enemies to him, so whatever attacks are there are whatever attacks are there. But to continue raising his attack for his active skill, I figured out how to beat you. This is when he blows up Namek. Now, I know, what do you call it? He does it in his regular final form. He does it in his regular final form, but it's Dokkan. You can switch it up a little bit. He's going to do it in his full power form in this card. I have it as that. That's what it is. I make up the rules here right now. It's going to do great. It's going to greatly raise attack and do ultimate damage, just like any other active skill attack. It's going to be such a huge hit. Now, it doesn't guarantee a crit. It doesn't guarantee a super effective against all type. But if you are fighting that super class enemy, or you did build him with some crits, you may get lucky. But not only does that do that, if you do kill the enemy, go to the next phase, you are going to open Frieza's domain. And domains are kind of in a tough spot. They're kind of weird with how the game works right now, but you're going to open Frieza's domain of Dying Namek for 5 turns. And that's going to change the battlefield to the Dying Namek that we all know that only has 5 minutes to live. And it's going to buff our characters greatly. The domain of Dying Namek is going to give extreme class allies an innate 15% attack and defense, but it is also going to give them guaranteed hits. So if you're fighting an enemy like UI Goku or some other character that can dodge your attacks, you are going to have guaranteed hits. You do not have to worry about them dodging anything. You are going to be just demolishing these people, to be honest. You're going to be demolishing them. But if you are on the Battle of Fate category, you are going to get an additional 15% attack and defense. So if you do somehow run, I don't know if I put these guys on any teams that they would work together, but if you do run Frieza and Goku at the same time, essentially if it is going to cancel out the 15%. No, I'm lying. There's no debuff for the people. I'm lying. But if you do have superclass allies on the team with Frieza and they are Battle of Fate, they will still get some kind of buff, while the extreme class Battle of Fate units get a 30%, which is going to be huge for these guys. It's going to be huge for them. Full power Frieza, absolute juggernaut. Should I reduce some of the damage reduction? Maybe 80% innately in slot 1 is too good, but depends on where the attacks are. But that being said, let's get to the banner unit. A first for Dokkan. Transformed Zarbon. I know what you're thinking. Zarbon has a transform card. He's an SR. Be so serious. Why didn't I do a base form Zarbon? He technically has the TUR with the Dorian Zarbon free-to-play card that we got like a year or two ago. So he can wait a little bit. Transformed Zarbon needs a card, and I gave him one. He's going to be extreme int. He's going to have the 14 HP, 12 attack, and 12 defense. Space Traveling Warriors, key +4, stats 130. You can kind of see where I'm going with this, like Krillin. He's going to have the 3 key attack and defense 200%. He's going to have reduced damage received by 40%, and he's going to get an additional 5% damage reduction with each attack he receives. So the same thing like Evolution Blue Vegeta when he gets it. He's going to have 40% damage reduction each attack he gets. First attack is then going to have 45, then 50, then 55, so on. But in this character, instead of getting dodge chance, he is going to get an additional 20% damage reduction when there is a Frieza on the team. I think, again, like the Krillin, I'm going to change that to on the turn. If there's a Frieza on the same attacking turn, he's going to get an additional damage reduction of 20%, and he's going to give Space Traveling Warriors an additional 1 key and 10% attack, bringing his support of Space Traveling Warriors 4 key and 50% attack and defense. So if Frieza is on the turn, he's going to have 60% damage reduction and 5% extra damage reduction for every single attack he takes. And to increase that incentive to put him in front of attacks to get hit, he's going to get massively raised defense for 1 turn on his super attack, and he's going to lower enemy attack and defense. Just lowering the attack to try to get a little less damage taken on him, but he can still get caught. Let's be honest, he can still get caught. Good slot 3 unit. Sometimes he can be a good slot 2. This is the one that's kind of crazy. We're done with these are part one. These are all our part one characters right here. We got the base Goku into Super Saiyan Goku, the Krillin, the final form Frieza into full power, and Zarbon. Part one looks pretty good. Part one looks pretty good if I do say so myself. Let's talk about the free-to-play unit. This is the only one I made. I only made one free-to-play unit. I couldn't think of any more that weren't already made or are used in some other context. So let's talk about it. This is the first adult Bulma, even SSR card. This is the first adult Bulma SSR card. Every other Bulma is a youth Bulma. If we go over the Dokkan Wiki, every single Bulma that is released, even the one that came out with Roshi, is a youth Bulma. Goku, Krillin, and Bulma, youth. This is a side. She's a side character in here. Bulla, she's a side character in here. Doesn't do anything. Youth. Bunny is youth. Same thing. Side character, the same as the STR one. Youth. The only adult Bulma is the SR Namek Bulma. So we made a free-to-play Namek Bulma. She's either going to come from a brand new DB story or a reworked one of one of the Namek ones. She's going to have an easy A. She's going to be around 13k HP, 14k attack, and 9,000 defense. Dragon Ball Seekers key 3 and 77 stats. And physical type key 3 and 50% stats. I kind of made her crazy. I kind of made her crazy as a free-to-play unit, but this is what we need. We need good free-to-play units because there's zero incentive to run them right now. If you have a good summonable unit, it's better than almost any free-to-play unit right now. She's going to have 120% attack. Not a lot, I know, but she's going to also give all allies 2 key and 30% stats. She has a high chance of evading enemy attacks. She has 50% dodge if all allies on the team are Planet Namek Saga. The thing you have to do to make a free-to-play unit good is give them restrictions. Bulma is going to be really good on a Planet Namek Saga team, and honestly, that's it. She has the same ability that I gave Krillin. She's going to have dodge stacking on top of her 50% chance, but this time she's going to get 3% extra chance to dodge on top of every dodge she does, as many times as she can. It's not going to be forever. It's going to be for the turn. And then I'm giving her this kind of debuff attack right here. So when there is a superclass ally that is Planet Namek Saga on the team, she's going to have a great chance to lower the enemy's attack by 40% and seal their super attack for 2 turns when attacking. So, say we're on a Super Battle Road stage where, all debuffs are possible. If she is with a Goku or a Krillin or a Gohan that is on the Planet Namek Saga, she attacks that enemy, she's going to lower their attack by 40% and seal them for 2 turns. It's going to be a really good debuff along with her dodge, and since she doesn't want to get hit too hard, like from a super attack, that's going to work in her benefit very well. So even if she doesn't dodge, she doesn't take, an insane amount of damage. And not just Super Battle Road, wherever enemy can be debuffed is going to be a lot better than what would happen if she didn't. But she also is going to get 50% defense for 1 turn on a super attack and lower enemy attack just to give her extra cushion, just so she doesn't die immediately. We need a free-to-play character that's not going to die in 2 hits. There's a lot of attacks each turn. There's a lot of attacks in each fight. And they need to be able to live a few of them. But after that, let's talk about these Part 1 EZAs. And first up, the big boy, Int Super Saiyan Goku. The boy we just reworked in the new one. He's going to have Legendary Existence and Super Saiyan category, 4 key, 180%. Huge. Insane for this team. Borderline Carnival unit. I didn't give them much because they are just EZAs. They can't really outshine the new units, but he's going to have 200% stats and 4 key. He's going to have guaranteed guard and then additional super attack when receiving. And then as the second or third attacker, an additional attack and defense 100%, and then a medium chance of another attack. So you can either put him in slot 1, take the chance of the hits he's going to take, get the additional super attack guaranteed, or put him in slot 2 or 3, preferably paired with the new Goku that I have in here. Get the extra stats, and then instead have a chance at an extra super. Depending on how you built him, you'll have a couple in there. And then for every single turn, he's going to have 2 key up to 6. So 3 turns, He's going to have 6 ki. He's going to have 10 ki from his passive alone. He's going to be beautiful with this new Goku. And then an additional 100% attack when they're 100% attack and defense when there's an extreme class enemy. He's going to be buff. This is a buff guy right here. And then just like the new ones, I decided instead of just the crits against Frieza, he's going to have the new ability as well. Performs a guaranteed crit against any extreme class enemy. He's going to be stacked. He's going to raise attack and defense on his 12 ki and then greatly raise attack and defense on his 18. Just the same way as the other two characters. You only get 18 ki super attacks once, so greatly stacking is not going to like go insane, but it's still going to be very good each turn. Now that we talk about full power Frieza, he's about the same. I gave him a lot more stats because I did not give him guard. I gave him the 200% and 4 ki, which is the same. The additional super attack after receiving an attack, which is the same. But instead of guarding all attacks, I gave him 50% damage reduction. Not a lot, not a little bit, but just enough to where he can still take some attacks because he's still going to have that medium chance as the second or third attacker, but he doesn't get the additional 100% stats. That's because at the start of battle, he's going to have an additional 150% attack and defense for 6 turns. As soon as the starting turn. So if he's in turn 2, he's going to have it till, I think, turn 8, that would be. But after that wears off, he's going to lose the defense. He's going to lose 50% stats. He's only going to have 100% attack from the 7th turn. So you kind of want to hide him after that 7th turn. He's not going to be as tanky, but he's still going to have that 50% damage reduction. He still has the key building like Goku, and then he has the additional attack, 100% attack when there's a super class enemy. And he also does the opposite of Goku, performing a critical hit when there is a super class enemy. Same thing with his 12 and 18 ki, regular stack on 12 and greatly stack on 18. They're mirror images of each other, but they're going to be so good in different ways. Goku guarding everything, the damage reduction on Frieza, the high attack on Frieza. They're going to be great for whatever fight you're going into. I think they're going to be very good. But that would be part 1 of the Worldwide Talent celebration that I am conjuring up right here, because then we get into part 2 where we talk about the carnivals. We talk about the carnival LRs. We talk about Dirty Fireworks Vegeta. The only Dirty Fireworks Vegeta we have is the Extreme Int support type Vegeta. That's not enough. He comes around, twice a year? Maybe even once a year. We need a dedicated Dirty Fireworks Vegeta. I did not make the carnivals as broken as these first guys. The carnivals are kind of just extra fun units. But I did make Vegeta a Inhuman Deeds Ki +3 200% stats unit. Inhuman Deeds, Vegeta. That's all I gotta say. Inhuman Deeds and Vegeta. They go hand in hand. He's the perfect leader for a Carnival Inhuman Deeds leader. He's going to get 250% stats, 4 ki, and he's going to get an additional attack and defense, 20% for every attack performed, up to 100%, so you can get up to 350% at the start of each turn. He's going to have an initial damage reduction of 40%, and he is going to reduce damage received by an extra 10% and launch an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack per Rainbow Key Sphere obtained. So you get 3 Rainbow Key Spheres. That's an additional 30% damage reduction and 3 more attacks that all have chances to become super attacks. And when he has that, you know he has to have Rainbow Sphere changing. He will randomly change a certain type of Key Sphere into Rainbow just to be able to build up that damage reduction and those additional attacks to get him going. Because before we talk about the active skill, same thing with this guy. 18 ki greatly raises attack and defense. 12 ki raises attack. He's not going to get any defense on that 12 ki, so he's going to be a little squishy if you don't get that 18 ki. But with all the damage reduction you're going to get, he's going to be just fine. But all that raising attack is going to build up his active skill, Dirty Fireworks, where we get the beautiful explosion. No guaranteed crit, no guaranteed super effective against all types. How you build him is how you go. He's going to be AGL. I forgot to mention that. So if you want to fish for the crit, if you want to just do it as a finishing blow, it's up to you. But that is the Carnival Dirty Fireworks Vegeta. I think he's going to be really fun. I think he's missing stuff to me on purpose. because these guys are going to be broken if I just make everybody the number 1 unit of the game. I think the Dokkanfest LRs are really the ones that need to be the strongest ones. The Carnival ones can be, just extra add-on. Speaking of extra add-ons, Carnival Piccolo Nail Fuse, the tech unit, Gifted Warriors, key plus 3 stats, 200%. I was thinking Worthy Rivals, but Gifted Warriors does not have a leader. What was the last Gifted Warriors leader? Physical Goten and Trunks? How long ago was that? They're going to be that. He's going to have 24k HP, 22k attack, and a 12,000 defense. I know what a lot of the hardcore Dokkan fans are thinking. 12,000 defense is nothing. 12,000 defense is fairly low. That's closing in on like Dokkan Fest TUR defenses. But you're going to see when we get into the kit, he's going to have the intro of him fusing with Nail. They have this done in the free-to-play AGL Piccolo that we got years ago, so far back that he has the STR Boo problem where his transformations don't have a sky. They're just a black background. So we're going to get it done right here. He's going to fuse with Nail. He's going to get 3 key and 100% attack and defense and an extra chance of evading enemy attacks 20% for 5 turns. You know what that means? I think you know what that means. At the start of turn, this guy's going to have 4 key, defense and attack, 200%. And then he's going to get an additional 100% attack and defense when he's attacking. He's going to have a 50% chance to dodge. So with that intro, for 5 turns, he's going to have 70% chance to dodge. He's going to get an additional 10% attack and defense up to 50%. And a chance of evading enemies' attack plus 5% for each attack evaded, going up to 20%. So he can build back up that 20% evasion that he has in the intro before it runs out, giving him 90% chance to dodge for the first 5 turns. If you get all 5, no, he needs 4 to dodge. If you get all 4 dodged, he can have 90% chance to dodge for the first 5 turns of the fight. He will be a nasty dodging character. And then I just added it because one of the characters needed to have a quote-unquote bad ability, so I gave him tech key sphere changing. He's going to change a certain type of key sphere that's not tech into tech, just to help with the key. He already gets decent key. 4 key and 3 with the intro is fine. 7 keys, all right. But he's a Namekian on a Planet Dynamic Saga team. He's not going to link too well, so the key changing kind of helps him a little bit, I guess. But maybe you want to put him on the front, dodge everything, and he can get all his tech key spheres that he makes. Other than that, his super attacks, 12 key, raises attack and defense for 1 turn, and then he has a chance of stunning. He has a regular chance of stunning, which I believe is like a 20% or 30% chance. And then his 18 key, he's going to raise attack and defense for 1 turn and have a great chance of stunning, which I believe is actually the 30%. So he's gonna be good. I think Piccolo is going to be probably my favorite of the Carnivals. I like the Dirty Fireworks Vegeta, but I think I just like Piccolo as a character more. Plus, dodging is so good. Dodging is like insanely broken. But for the part 2 Easy A's, we are easying more LRs. We are easying Gohan and Krillin, the rapid growth category. They're going to now have key 4 and a 150 stats, while also doing AGL types key 4 and 130 stats. These are another transforming character. Technically, even though they only do the costume change, it counts as a transformation. They're going to have a 150% chance, 150% stats, and a high chance of evading enemy super attacks. 50% chance to evade from the jump. Very good. They're going to get 2 key per key sphere obtained. They're going to get additional attack and defense 100% when they perform a super attack. And they're going to launch an additional... I think I'm going to change that from an additional attack that has a high chance to be a super to an additional super attack when key is 20. That is coming down from 24 key, just to give them a little wiggle room. They don't always have to be max key, but they're always going to have a chance to do it. And then they're going to change the battle suits when conditions are met. I believe it's the next attacking turn. I don't remember it. I didn't read it too much. But the super attacks, 12 key, regular raise attack and defense for 1 turn, and then 18 key, greatly for 1 turn. Once they're in their battle suits, this is where they get a little nice 200% attack and defense, the same 50% chance to dodge, but now they're going to get 3 key per key sphere obtained, plus an additional 2 key if it's a rainbow key sphere. They're going to get an additional 158% attack and defense when performing a super attack, plus 30% chance to dodge when performing a super attack. That means they're going to have 80% chance to dodge after supering attack. After doing a super attack, they get so much ki that I did not change the 24 ki requirement on this one. So when they get 24 ki, they're going to launch an additional super attack, and that's going to have greatly raising attack and defense on both of them. So they're going to be a lot better when they initially came out. When they initially came out, they were nothing to even look at. They weren't even on the radar. So giving them something to actually make them useful is going to be very good. I know a lot of people probably pulled these guys over the years and just kind of just fed them their dupes, opened everything up, and just never used them. I don't blame you. They're okay. But our final EZA for this worldwide that I have made is the Exchange Goku and Vegeta. They're doing Planet Namek Saga 4 ki, 150 stats, and Int type 4 ki and 130 stats. The base Vegeta, before we even get to Goku, oops, I didn't even write that correctly. He's going to have 4 ki, attack and defense. Attack and defense. And defense, 200%. Very nice. He's going to have an additional ki plus 3 and 200% defense when HP is 30% or more. So he's going to have, with 30% or more health, he's going to have 400% defense. He's going to be a tanky boy because he also reduces damage by 30%. And I know when you're looking at the other units that I put, 30% seems like nothing. 30% is going to be fine when someone's getting 400% defense on an EZ8 LR. He's going to be just fine. Plus, he's going to get that additional 100% defense when he's attacking. He's going to be okay. Then the only thing I changed really with that is he used to be 29% health or less. I have changed it to 50% HP or less at the start of the turn. When he is killed, he is going to revive as Goku with 70% HP. And his 12 and 18 ki basically the same. They're both raising attack and defense for 1 turn for 30%. Nothing too crazy. When we get into Goku, this is where the real fight starts. He's going to have ki plus 5, attack and defense 250. And he's going to get an additional 150% attack and defense when he performs a super attack. He's going to be a tank because he also reduces damage received by 50%. And he performs crits when there is an extreme class enemy, upgrading from that Planet Namek Saga extreme class enemy. He's going to be good. He's going to be a game changer. He's going to be a game finisher. That's what you need when you have a revival character. Revival characters like this, they need to be insane when they revive because you're putting the game on the line when you put that out there. So he's going to have greatly raising attack and defense on both his 12 and 18 ki. He doesn't have any additionals in here really. He's just going to be the one big attack unless you build him with additionals. He's going to be a really big attack, and then if he additionals, he's going to have something better in there. These are the characters I made for the worldwide download celebration. I think I did a decent job. I think I made 2 of the #1 LRs in the game. I think I made one of the best banner units in the game. I think I made a great contender for #2 banner unit in the game. Our first adult Bulma, TUR. G is free to play, but it is our first adult Bulma. Amazing LR EZAs, great Carnival units. I think we're in a good spot. This is what I think the worldwide download celebration is going to be. This is my speculation. If you guys have anything different, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the characters, and I will catch you guys in the next video.